we will chant Om 3 times, followed by the invocation mantras. Inhale deeply. Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Give me a second. Shobhaji is calling. Uh,
She must be listening.
Sorry about that. Yeah, she wanted to confirm if there's a call now. So
Nice.
we are covering chapter 2.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 2, what we saw was it from verses number 11 to 30. Okay. Bhagwan has given the highest knowledge, which is the knowledge of the self. Okay. The Atma Vidya was taught between these verses from 11 to 30. Then what happened is that in the last session, okay, so which we saw 3 verses, 31 to 33. Okay. The verse, one of those verses, the 31st said, Swadharma pichaveksha na vikampayato marhasi dharmyadhi yudhat sheyornyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. And yadruchya chopapanno swargadvaram apavrutam sukina kshatriya padha labhante yuddham ishwar midrusham atha chetva mimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tata swadharmam kirtincha hitva papam amapsasi. So in these, basically in these 3 verses, what Lord Krishna was talking was from the point of swadharma. Okay. So earlier between 11 to 30, he talked from the point of view of absolute Brahman, okay, the Atma, and he talked about from the point of Jiva. So now in these last 3 verses, he talked from the point of view of Swadharma. So here, just as a refresher, is that from a perspective of Swadharma, if you look at, okay, for a Kshatriya, when a Yuddha comes, it is his responsibility to fight the war. Now, what does it mean? Okay, so Arjuna is Kshatriya, so he needs to fight war. Okay, so what is my takeaway from here is that whatever is my responsibility, I cannot drop it off because it is inconvenient to me. So no matter what it is, I just must uh, fulfill my responsibility. That is the takeaway from there, okay, for us. Then in verse number 32, Yadriksha cha upapanno swargadvaram apavtam sukhina kshatriya padha lapante yuddham idrisham. Now, here he's saying that this war has come to you unasked. So, because this war has come to you unasked, okay,
Uninvited.
it's like opening the doors of heaven. Okay, you had a question, Asalji?
No, you said anayase, that means uninvited or unexpected, right?
Yeah, unexpected. Yeah. So
Yeah.
unasked. I was saying unasked, unasked. Okay. So now what happens is that again, this is like, for me, for all of us, is that the responsibilities come unasked. And what is the point of fulfilling those responsibilities? When we fulfill those responsibilities in a proper manner, they are going to give us chitta shuddhi, meaning purity of mind when we complete. Because yes, there was this responsibility, I completed my responsibility. The result of that completion of responsibility doesn't matter. It could be a good result or a bad result. That is not in our control. But I have performed my responsibility.
Is the duty a better word than responsibility? Do your dharma and duty.
Duty, yes. Duty or responsibility, right? So either of them are, in this particular case, are similar, Chanji. Yes. So if you want to say duty, yeah, perfect. Duty is also a very good word. Yes. So we must perform our duties.
So you mentioned that your doors to heaven open up, or you acquire chitta shuddhi regardless of the outcome of your actions.
Yeah. So now doors to heaven are opening up. What does that mean is that where is heaven and what is heaven to me is that when there is a mental agitation, when the agitation is very high, mental agitation, I start experiencing a tough thing right within me, right now, right here. Okay. So this is what we call as naraka.
Yes.
But then when a responsibility has come, a duty has come unasked, and I fulfill the duty, then there is a peace of mind.
Ah,
That peace of mind itself is like opening the door to heaven.
yes.
Okay. And in the 33rd verse, it is said, in case if you are not going to fight this war, you are going to gain akirti. Kirti means fame. Akirti means ill fame. Okay. You will get akirti, which is ill fame, and then you will gain papa. Okay. Papa is sin. Now, sin is defined in our Hinduism as performing something that is below our dignity, that contradicts our values, and then when we perform that, automatically there is a regret that starts in our mind. Okay. We may not pay attention to it, but that regret is going to be there, and it is going to take a shape of a future result. Okay. So this is papa. Okay. Now, from Arjuna's perspective, what is happening? He knows that, he has given a lot of reasons why he should not fight the war in chapter 1. And yet he knows that something somewhere is incorrect in his understanding. Okay. So because he knows that something somewhere is incorrect in his understanding, he surrendered to Lord Krishna and said, please help me out. Okay. And teach me what is Nishreyas. So what is absolute Shreyas to me? Okay. What is absolute good for me? So that means what? In case if he doesn't fight, in case if Krishna was not there, that would be killing him internally. That when there was an opportunity to fight, I did not fight and I ran away or whatever, not ran away. So I had like a misunderstanding and I did not wage the war. So that is going to, that regret is going to be papa
Mhm.
for him. Okay. So for us also, what happens is that sometimes, and I'll tell you a simple thing. Simple example, right? So like you go to India, okay, based on recent experience, I'm just saying this, right? So you go to India, and then there is a beggar who comes asking for money. Now you have you want to give, and you looked into your pocket, and then I mean checking, hey, if there's a 20 rupees or 100 rupee or whatever, and the only bill that you have is either 500 or 2000. So
Attachment.
okay. So then what happens is that, you know, this 2000, no, I don't want to give 2000. Okay, so no. And then you'll say, go away, right? Then the car moves on, maybe like assuming that the beggar is like you are going in a car, and then the beggar came to you at a light stop, right? So then the car moves away, and now you have a feeling, what is this 500 or 2000 to me? Okay, I am living in US. 500 rupee bill is equivalent to less than $10. Wouldn't I give a $5 bill for like a homeless guy somewhere? Like, okay, if they come and ask, okay. So why am I rationing it here now? Okay. So then the regret starts. Okay. So that regret is what. So what happened is that I'm able to give, but I did not give, and that regret, starting of that regret is Papa.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is where this is how much we have covered in last session. Okay, so we're going to go from verse number 34. Okay.
Excuse me,
So
sir. Why do you consider that as a papa?
Papa is nothing but regret.
Regret. Okay.
Regret, a regret. See, what happened is not any regret, but a regret is that you have particular standard. Okay, you have a particular standard, and you could not, when you did not live up to the standard that you have established yourself. Okay, and this is whether you established yourself or not, it is, you know what is right and what is wrong. Okay, now let us say we all know we have to say truth. Now I may not have established that I should always speak truth. However, every time I tell a lie, I know that I told a lie and it is a bad thing. Okay, so I have committed a mistake is that is taking shape in my head. Okay, and now granted, yes, okay, I never committed myself, that I will be Satya Harishchandra. Yet what happened is that because I know that by not telling the truth, okay, I fell from the ideal position, and because of this there is a regret in my heart, and that regret is Papa, and it is going to have its own fruition.
Actually, there is the psychological terms is guilt. You become quickly guilty of not, because you know you are what's the right thing to do, but we do not follow what is right, and we follow the wrong option in that case. And
Yes.
that bugs us then. If
Yes.
it doesn't bug you and doesn't make a, does that mean you haven't done a papa? As long as it does not create any
So
guilt or sense of regret in you, that I think I made a good decision. I didn't want to give him money because he doesn't deserve it, or whatever. You can reason or rationalize in it that way too.
yeah, so here are a couple of things is that, see, now a person, okay, who is not a thinker, who has grown like on the roadside or whatever, right? So someone who has a very hard life, tough life, who is maybe working for a gang or whatever, right? So like a mafia kind of a person, even though he may not have guilt, okay, on the surface, there is an understanding that he made a mistake. Each time he makes a mistake, okay, it need not be like a murder level, right? Okay, even every little thing, and even then, the guilt may not come up. Okay, he may even like brag about it, how he lied through his thing and how he was successful, etc. But
There's a word for that. That's called lacunae in superego. That's the psychological word. They lack. There is something deficient. Their superego is the one that is the commanding higher authority that really regulates our actions.
Mhm.
They have lost that superego. That is washed out. They don't think it's bad or good. And that's what the word is lacunae in the superego.
Yeah. So what?
But at some level, I'm sure they must feel bad, no
Yeah.
matter how much they have, you
Yeah.
know, gotten it out of their system. But it must pinch them at some level. It will accumulate. I'm sure it will add up to some time. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that is the important thing is that please do understand that, hey, just because I did not set up a standard for myself and because I don't apparently feel guilty, it doesn't mean that there is no papa. No, no, no. There is there
It's
is
still a papa.
it is still
Okay.
papa. Okay.
I have a question. If
Yes.
you do, if there is a Shreyas and Preyas marg,
Mhm.
and you have to choose, like, okay, I want to go to satsang or I want to read this, but then something else comes up, and there is always conflict, and you choose the Preyas marg or whatever, So then, is that a guilt or papa, or is it?
So the very question that you're asking that question means that there's a guilt automatically there.
it,
Right.
it answers itself.
But
So
is it called papa? Papa means,
yeah. So I mean,
Oh.
see, like when we say papa, see, like see, a sin need not be like let's say a small sin versus a big sin. What is happening is that any sin is what is it really doing is that it is taking away, moving us away from our goal. Okay. Think about like we need to travel north to reach Bhagwan. Okay. But every time, I don't like how Atulji got disconnected. But every time we are moving toward any action that we do, if our goal is Bhagwan, now let us say if the direction of Bhagwan is north and we need to move towards north, any sin, okay, small or large, okay, it takes us to south, okay, one step away and moves us back to south. Okay, welcome back, Atulji. So as I was saying, if the direction of Bhagwan is in north, any action that I perform should make me move towards northern direction. Any papa, any prayers activity we perform, all of that will lead us one step south. Okay. So if it is a good prayers, maybe one step. If it is a really bad thing, it could be 10 steps towards south. Okay. But it is going to, there is a, when you look at in the words of Shreyas and Prayas, Varshaji, Shreyas will take towards and Prayas will take away from Bhagwan means like liberation. Atulji, if you have a question, you need to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So one question, you used one terminology, going south. So Dakshina side and Uttar side, is that truly
No.
Dakshin
This is just an example. I could have said east west also. Okay, that is just an analogy.
Oh, okay. Because I read somewhere where when you're going in the wrong direction, it's called comes from Dakshinamurti is always facing south, and all the aspirants and the sadhaks are facing Dakshinamurti, who is always placed on the north. So I thought in that sense,
Mhm,
because Dakshinamurti looks at south to uplift the people,
mhm,
looking at him
mhm.
towards north. I've read it somewhere that to go to Dakshina means to go towards Papa.
Yeah. So
Anyway, that was
yeah. So Uttara also sometimes means higher, and Dakshina means lower. So we going downwards kind of a thing. That kind of meaning is also there. That's why.
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So we're going to chant verse 34. Okay. I know Shobhaji's voice is very difficult to chant. So uh, can you Atulji or Varshaji, one of you can chant verse number 24. Okay. So
34.
oh, sorry, 34. Okay. Uh, so this I'm going to break the word. Actually, like yeah, actually the second line requires breaking. So I'll break the words for you. Okay. Akirtim chapi is cha api. Akirtim cha api. Bhutani katha ishyanti te avyayam. Sambhavitasya. So the word is Chakirtir Maranati Richate. So that is Cha Akirtim Maranat Atirichyate. So that Cha Akirtim Maranat Atirichyate becomes Chakirtim Maranati Richate. Okay? Maranat Atirichyate. Okay. So repeat after me. Akirtim chapi bhutani Katayishyanti te vyayam
Kathayishyanti te vyayam
Sambhavitasya cha kirtim
sambhavitasya cha kirtim
Maranatatirichyate.
maranatirichyate.
So in the previous verse, what happened is that Bhagavan said, about Akirti. Okay. So he is elaborating a little further in this, again, like a little bit more about Akirti, where basically he's talking about the negative consequences of not performing our duty. Okay. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te abhayam. Bhutani means all beings. Okay. So that means that here what he's saying is that Bhutani all beings means that here the reference is that Arjuna is well known among all beings in this world and actually even in other worlds also because it is from a story, Mahabharata story perspective, he does visit Indraloka once and he even gets a shapa, meaning a curse from Urvashi as well. Okay, so he is well known. Kathayishyanti. All the beings who knows Arjuna, what are they going to do? They are going to do Kathayishyanti, meaning they are all going to speak about Arjuna. What are they going to talk about Arjuna? As an example of what should not be done. Remember Arjuna? Like, okay, what he did, that should not be done. Okay, you should never be like Arjuna. Okay, so that's how they are going to talk. Akirtim. Okay. Apyayam. So this Akirti is, and he gains so much Akirti. Akirti means bad, ill fame, that it appears Avyayam. Vyayam means that can be expendable. Avyayam means that it is never expendable. So if you think about certain bad people from the past, whether you think about Hitler or someone else, what's his name, Nathuram Godse, etc. Even after several years, we still think about them in bad terms. Examples of how a person should not be.
Mm.
So in that way, they are going to talk about you. Okay. So now, and this Arjuna, okay, Sambhavitasya cha akirti, that kind of akirti that is established, okay, it is worse than death. Maranat atirichyate. So this is worse than the death. That means that there are two things. One is that it goes beyond death. Okay, so you are dead and gone, but like your Akirti will stay forever. Okay, so one example is that take I don't know how many of you know Uttara Kumara. Uttara Kumara is so before war, Arjuna and Pandavas they all stayed in secret in uh, King Virata's place. Okay, so in Virata, King Virata has a daughter and son, and Arjuna in the form of Brihannala as a eunuch, okay, in the form of a eunuch, okay, he was teaching Uttara dance, okay, and Uttara has a brother, his name also was also Uttara Kumara, and he, it so happened that there was a war, okay, so our entire Kauravas attacked the Virata's kingdom, and he went to the war, but the moment he saw everyone, he got so scared. Very similar to Arjuna, but Arjuna was not really scared. He was deluded, whereas the Uttara Kumara was scared. And even now, generally, like in Indian circles, if someone says that, "Oh, I am so great," etc., they are what you call like they are teased as being as Uttar Kumara, meaning like okay, all speech, no action. So this kind of a thing. So this Uttar Kumara is from when? He's from Dwapara Yuga. He passed away in Dwapara Yuga. Okay, but his ill fame is still there even today. Okay, in the same way, Arjuna, your ill fame is going to be there way after your death. That is what it is. So here again, there's not like a much. So the importance is that when we don't perform any action that we are supposed to, meaning like when we don't fulfill our responsibility, people are going to talk about it. Okay, that this person who was supposed to do this, they did not do anything about it. Okay, so that is
History will not be good on your account. Bad history for you. Okay.
yeah. So that and then Bhagwan again continues a little bit more in terms of the additional negatives. Okay, in next two verses, and then so they're like not too much discussion is needed.
Needed, yeah.
Okay, but like we will go through those. Chanji, do you want to repeat?
Sure. I will try the first one.
Okay, sure. Okay,
That's
so
the 35, right?
that is 35. So the breakdown is Ayat, Ranat, Upataram becomes Ayat, Ranat, Upataram. Okay, Mansyante, Tvam, Maharathaha, Yesham, Cha, Tvam, Bahumataha. So that becomes Bahumato, Utva, Yasyasi, Laghavam. Okay. So the first word is little bit.
Yeah. You start and I will follow you.
Okay. Bhayadranatu pataram
Dayatpanat uttaram
mansyante tvam maharathaha
mansante tava maharata
yesham chatvam bahumataha
yesham chattatam bhavamata
utva yasyasi laghavam.
bhutva yasya lagavam.
So, and then here, further elaborating, Yesham Maharathaha. Yesham Maharathaha means all these Maharathas. Maharathi, there's a definition in actually like of any warrior. Okay, so saying that someone like what does so in the war, someone who can kill about, I mean, like, not necessarily kill, fight against a particular number is there, something like 100,000 people or something like that on their own, like single-handedly, such a person is called Maharatha. Okay, Maharathi. So now in this war, Arjuna is considered as a Maharathi, Karna is considered as a Maharathi, then Duryodhana is considered as a Maharathi. Like that, there are maybe 10 to 15 Maharathis are there in that war. Bhishma, of course, Drona, of course, Ashwathama, of course. Okay, so all these Maharathis, so these Maharathis, Karna, Krupa, Somadatta, etc. Like, I mean, some of them are listed actually in chapter 1. Okay, so when the entire army was introduced, who is who, in those, all these Maharathis are listed. So these Maharathis, what are they going to say? Ayat Rana Tupataram. Okay, so they ran away. Arjuna ran away from the war out of bhaya, fear. Okay, nobody is going to say Arjuna did not want to fight out of compassion and hence he left. Okay, they are all going to say he ran away because of the fear. Okay, in fact, like our Swamiji I don't recall who was it. Okay, maybe it is Gurudev's commentary or Swamiji's. I don't recall, but even the foot soldiers who are up front, right? They go and brag to their wives. See, like I had this mush, I turned this mush, and then Arjuna saw me. Okay, and I turned my mush like this, and then that is when he got scared and he said like, okay, I'm going to fight this war. Okay. So even now, right? As for example, I gave you the example of Uttara Kumara, right? He was scared and he did not fight. Maybe he was compassionate. I don't know. Okay, we don't know for sure what happened in his head. Okay, but what you are saying is that he ran away out of fear. Now, what would be the difference between Uttara Kumara and Arjuna? We don't. Nobody cares because Uttara Kumara also ran away. Arjuna also ran away. So Arjuna also must have ran away out of fear. That's how the word will go out. Okay. So this Yesham Chatvam Bahumataha. So that means one such thoughts, okay, once such thoughts arise in this, Yesha means this kind of Bahumataha, these kind of these thoughts, once the Bhutva, that means that once these kind of thoughts come in your enemies, in your critics, Yasyasi Laghavam, that means that they will not consider you as great person anymore. Okay. And their opinion about you will become very low. Okay. So now, in the previous verse, what happened is we talked about Akirti. Akirti means ill fame. Okay. Now ill fame, and in this verse, it is called the dishonor is described. Okay. So there's a slight difference between Akirti and dishonor. Akirti is spread everywhere and it is indirect, meaning like you may not experience it. Say, for example, a bad thing about Hitler is Akirti is there, but Hitler may not experience the Akirti about his Akirti directly. Okay, we all talk about Hitler as a negative person, etc. All of that, yes, but he didn't experience it. Now, Avamana, on the other hand, is direct. So that means that people will start telling Arjuna, like, okay, they don't care about it, okay? Hey, by the way, Arjuna, I thought like, okay, you ran away that day from the war, okay? So this Avamana is something that happens in your presence and Akirti is something that happens in your absence. And such an action of going away, moving away from your responsibility gives results in both dishonor as well as ill fame. Okay, so that's what he is saying. Okay, so then now the next verse, Shobhaji, are you okay to chant the verse or you are on mute? So
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
So then this one says, Avacha. This is verse number 36. It says, Avacha Vadan Cha. That becomes Avacha Vadams Cha. Bahun Vadishyanti Tava Ahitaha. Tava Ahitaha becomes Tavahitaha. Nindantaha Tava Samarthyam. Okay, that becomes Nindantas Tava Samarthyam. Tataha Dukkhataram Nu Kim. Okay.
1 second. My paper is stuck completely. 36, right?
Yes. Let me know whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Avachavadancha bahun
Avachavadanshcha bahun
padishyanti tavahitaha
vadishyanti tavahitaha
nindantastava samarthyam
nindantat tavat samarthyam
tato dukkhataram nu kim.
tato dukkhataram nu kim.
Thank you. Okay. So tavahitaha is tavahitaha. So means your ahita. Ahita means one who, hita means one who wants your good. Ahita means one who wants your bad. So that means your enemies, your critics. So these Duryodhana, these Karna, etc. The people who dislike you, okay, they today they probably are refraining from saying bad things about you out of fear, okay, or grudging respect to your abilities. Okay, so this is something that we have even at work. We don't like someone, but we know that they are very efficient. So we have a grudging respect for them. Okay, so but we will be constantly looking at them when they are going to fall. At the moment we fall, what I'm going to say? Yes. Okay, this is the time for me to criticize this person. Okay, so this is something that your ahitas. Okay, so they are all, today, as of now, until now, there is no reason, not a single reason to cast any blame on Arjuna until now. Okay. However, now you are giving an offering to them. Okay. Avacha, for what? Avacha vadancha bahun vadishyanti. Meaning, vacha means whatever you can say. Okay. Avacha means what you should not be saying. Okay. What you should not be saying means, I don't know, like there was a, I, I don't recall which book it was. Like there was a book where, in English book, it was one of the classic novels, like a N.S. Hemingway kind of a person. Maybe I should ask Mahashi would tell me. But in there, the characters always talk about unprintable. The word they use is unprintable. Okay, so you unprintable person, da, 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 like that, right? So that means that back in the day, they cannot write, maybe like in 1900s, etc. They couldn't they shouldn't be writing any negative words in the script. So they would say, you unprintable person, you unprintable act, etc. All of that, right? So and then we would get a laughter, right? So avacha is also such thing like unprintable, meaning I don't want to say what they, okay, I don't want to utter what they are going to utter about you. Okay,
Yeah.
those are saying those words would be beneath me, so I don't want to say those words. Okay, so such kind of words are going to be said. Bahoon means like not one or two, but they are going to be like so many of those. Vadishyanti, they are going to say, who? These are all your ahitas. Okay, and they all will be centered around what? Nindantaha tava samarthyam. Yes, they are all centered around insulting your capabilities. Yes, samarthyam is capability. Nindantaha meaning insulting your capabilities. So now, so far, his strengths are legendary and they are well known all over the country, all over the world. Now, all those capabilities are second guessed and insulted. Okay. Tataha dukkha nu kim. Okay. Now, if how bad, how painful would it be for you to be insulted by enemies like that? Okay, so this is the question that he's asking. So here, so far, what happened is that Bhagwan first he talked about the lakshartha of Atma, okay, which is what is the absolute Brahman. Okay, so that is what was taught. The Vachartha, meaning the Jiva. Okay, what is Jiva was also talked about, like as in how Jiva goes from one body to another body and all of that. Then he also talked about what is Swadharma. Then he also came to the fourth one, which is from a day-to-day perspective, how would people react? Okay, in these verses, what we saw is that how would people react in normal way? Okay, a lay person would react. So he talked about in all these 4 levels to Arjuna, and I are trying to explain that what he is going to do is not right from the perspective of Vyavaharika, which is like a day-to-day transactional life. In a layperson's point of view, from a dharma point of view, it is not right. As a jiva, it is not right. As a absolute self, it is not right. So now he is concluding this topic, okay, uh, with the following verse. So, which is verse number 37. Okay, so maybe Atulji and Varshaji, you can chant after me, repeat after me. Okay, so I'm going to break down the words before. Ato va, meaning ataha va, becomes ato va. Prapsyasi swargam. Chitva va bhokshase mahim. Tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kruta nischaya. Okay, so these are the words. Okay, so I'll chant. Please repeat. Ato va prapsyasi swargam.
Ato va prapsyati sargam.
Jitva va bhokshase mahim.
Jitva va bhokshase mahim.
Tasmat uttishta kaunteya.
Tasma dustishtakanteya.
I'll repeat again. Tasmaduttishta kaunteya.
Tatma uttishtakanteya.
Yuddhaya kruta nischayah.
Yudhaya kutanishchayah.
So this tasmat means therefore. Okay, so that means that what happened? I have told you so many things. Therefore, so that means that it is coming to a conclusion. What is the conclusion? Atavva prapsasi swargam. So first let us talk about the uh, generic the apparent meaning, and then we'll go into the internal meaning. Okay, so atahva prapsasi swargam means in case if you lose, because he is not going to lose and be still alive, so he's going to die. Okay, lose here then die, right? It is a fight till death. Atahva prapsasi swargam, in case if you lose because you did swadharma based dharma yuddha, okay, you will gain heaven. Jitva va, in case if you win, bhokshase, you will experience what? Mahim means like you will experience all the joys of this world. Therefore, O Kaunteya, meaning Kaunteya means son of Kunti is Kaunteya. Okay. Tasmat Uttishta Kaunteya. Therefore, hey Arjuna, hey Kaunteya, Uttishta, get up. To do what? Not to run away. Yuddhaya Kruta Nischaya. Okay. Make a firm resolve to fight, and with that to and fulfill your obligation. Okay, so now this is what is said. Okay, so now this question, right? This particular shloka is as an interesting one, because what happens is, how do we, this is a kind of thing like anybody and everyone can say, and it can be misused and abused if this shloka is not properly looked at. Okay, right? Can you see the challenges with the pitfalls in this the apparent meaning, the simplified translatory meaning of this shloka?
Is there a question?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Question is, what are the pitfalls of the simplified translation of this shloka?
Whether if you fight and you may die in the fight, that's okay. Even otherwise,
Mhm.
like you will go to heaven whether you fight or not.
Mhm. Yeah, so that what it means is that it sounds like a brainwashing. right? Okay, it sounds like brainwashing, like, if you die, you're going to get something up there. If you don't die, you get something up here. So go, what are you going to lose? Go fight. Okay.
Right.
So
Pushing one to fight.
yeah, so this is a something that we need to understand. What does it mean? Okay. So yes, from the viewpoint of Arjuna, I mean from a specific perspective for Arjuna, okay. So what Bhagavan is saying is that in case if you lose, okay, you still are not going to lose. Okay. And in case you win, you still are winning. So what is Bhagavan asking Arjuna to do? The specific thing Bhagavan is asking Arjuna to do is perform his duty.
Duty.
Okay. And why are we performing our duty?
Because it is your dharma to do that, because it's a righteous war and you have got to do what you're supposed to do and not run away from your responsibility or duty.
Okay. So because of that, as you said, rightly said, Chanji, because it is our responsibility to fulfill our obligations, now, if in trying to fulfill, if we fail also, whether we fail or pass, it really doesn't matter, because the very act of fulfilling our duties is going to cleanse our mind. Okay. So this cleansing of mind is going to give Chitta Shuddhi, right? So the is called as Chitta Shuddhi. Now this Chitta Shuddhi is an interesting thing. Okay. So now I have done something. Okay. Now I have two options. Okay. I have done let us try to understand this a little bit. What is this Chitta Shuddhi versus Punya? I mean, versus joy. Okay. So when I do a right thing, okay, I can get two types of benefits. Let us say, I helped Chanji somehow, for some reason, okay, for something. Now, when I help Chanji for something, Chanji is happy about it. And he says, hey, Venkat, you helped me out. So, what can I do for you in return? So, I can encash it right away. I can encash it right away saying like, oh, Chanji, do you know what? Like, okay, I'm so glad you asked. Okay, I need this help. So that means what happened is that I am encashing it right away, because of which I experience the happiness right now, right here. Okay. So this is the gaining the benefit of from our action. Now, I can also say, I mean, like whether I want to say like, what the other alternative of saying that is, I mean, like other variation of saying that is, I don't need any help right now, but you know what, like keep it in your mind. I'm going to ask you some help next year, because that's when like I am likely to need your help. Okay. So that and this is same. Okay. Whether I'm trying to encash it right now or I'm going to encash it later. So these two are same result. Now, the other type of result is that when Chanji says, hey, Venkat, what can I do for you? Then I say, if I say, oh, Chanji, oh, don't worry about it. I'm glad that I'm of help to you. Okay. I don't need anything in return. And I sincerely mean it when I say this. Okay. Now what? I created a goodwill. Okay. So this creation of goodwill from our Vedantic perspective is basically punya, which is cleansing out something that is in negative for us. Okay. And that is creating as a chitta shuddhi or purifying our mind.
Yeah, it will be the same thing, like we're doing our selfless service as we do. It's a karma yoga kind of a principle
Yes,
that
yeah.
you are doing without gaining anything in return. You do it with the intent of doing it because that's how you feel,
Yeah.
not what I'm going to get out of it. Don't. Then that creates the problem.
Yeah, okay. So
I think the word I was trying to interject was the intent. With what intent do you do a certain action? If your intent is dharmic, it is, righteous,
Mhm.
then you don't feel any sense of guilt. You don't create any vasanas. You don't create any negativity. Your mind is pure and you become sattvic anyway. So that's the intent of the action.
okay, so
Yeah.
now keep this in mind. Okay, so there are two possibilities. Okay, one is encashing it right away, and other is putting it for as a goodwill.
Delayed.
Okay, so this now what happens is when Hatova Prapsisi Swargam, okay, so having this kind of understanding, Hatova Prapsisi Swargam, what it means is that I did not get immediate result that I was hoping for. Okay, so that means that when I lost, I have put the effort, but I did not get the result. So what happened? What happened to that result? That result is created. However, it is not available to experience it right now. So that means that it is available for some future date. Okay, because I already put the effort. And in case if I get the result, I'm experiencing that result right now. Okay, so if you win, you experience right. I mean, like if you get the expected result, you get to experience the result right now. If you don't get the expected result, that means that it is converted as punya, and you are going to experience sometime in future.
Can you call this drashya film versus adrashya film?
Yes. So adrushta, right? So adrushta, we use the in our Indian vocabulary, we use the term adrushta. Adrushta means one that is unseen, but however that is with us. Because of this unseen thing that is with us, we are gaining something for apparently what we don't deserve. Oh. He only tried this much and he got so much. Okay. Okay. He just bought the stock. Okay. I just bought the stock this morning at $10, and then like boom, this afternoon, like some news came and like the $10 stock went up to $35. Okay. So this is what we call as adrushta. That means whatever was, there is an unseen factor is there, okay, which is a papa or punya, because of which I experience good or bad, which is somewhat appears to be not in proportion to my efforts. Okay. So as a result, because whether you gain either as a adrushta, okay, or whether you gain the result as right now, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so it is so why do you worry about it? So hey Kaunteya, hey son of Kunti, get up and do the okay, so the essential meaning of this particular verse.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay,
So may I just say something here?
sure, go ahead, Shobhan.
No. I just wanted to share this when I was 9 years old, and me and my sister went to meet Gurudev, and my mother had taught us this particular shloka along with Karpanya Doshopahata Swabhava. The three shlokas put together, my mother taught us, and she would make us practice. And Gurudev would hear us practicing. I mean, our voices were loud enough, and we would just practice in our house, and he could hear us. And then when we went to meet him, he said, I hear Arjuna and Krishna's conversations going on every day. And he made us chant this. And he
That's
said, we
wonderful.
did this. And this particular, so there were three, Karpanya Doshopahata Swabhava, and then Hato Va Prapriyasi. And then my sister, she was short and small built. and she was made to be Krishna and me Arjuna. And then Gurudev asked, "Do you know why you were made to be Arjuna and not Krishna?" So I just had to share this conversation because all these conversations keep coming into my mind.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
that's so sweet. So why
That
was
is-
he made Arjuna though?
You're still asking me now?
He
Because
Too
didn't say.
late.
I was very tall and big built,
Uh-huh.
and my sister was short and small built. So she was made to become Krishna, and I was made to be Arjuna because
Oh,
I was big right from my childhood. Yeah. So I mean, it immediately came to me. So I thought I'll just share it.
Thank you.
Didn't
Thanks
mean
for
to break
sharing.
the conversation.
That's your memory back from when you were 9 years
Yeah.
old
Oh, I have.
with Pujaswami Dayanand Saraswati. Huh? I mean,
Yeah.
Pujaswami
Swami
Chinnayanand ji.
Dayananda, my memories are right from the beginning, the day one I met him, and continues even now. Every little bit, every little thing, I kind of remember. He would also come home for Bhiksha, for food. And so, Bhiksha, a whole group of about 20-25 people would come for Bhiksha with him. And so lots of happy memories I have.
Great. Amazing.
So nice, Shobhaji.
So I didn't mean to break the conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it is very good. Yeah. So I was concluding anyway because from next verse onwards, right? The Karma Yoga is going to start. So like today, the whole concept was around Vyavaharika perspective, right? Swadharma, and we were moved from Swadharma to Vyavaharika. So then after explaining all of this, Bhagavan is going to talk about Karma Yoga. So he is going to start putting the what exactly is Karma Yoga. He's going to start at the 38th verse, and it goes up to the verse 48 or so. Okay, and then after 48 or 49, and then no, actually, yeah. So then he talks about who is a buddhiman. I mean, like who is a sthita prajna in verse number. Uh, yeah. So from verse number 51 onwards, he talks 51 to 53. He talks about the result of this karma yoga, which is a sthita prajna. And then, of course, Arjuna gets the question, and that's how the rest of the chapter goes. So, in the next session, we'll talk about the karma yoga. Okay, we'll start discussing the karma yoga.
Very fun.
Yeah, that's the other was Karpanya. The question was Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha prichhami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha. Then yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. And for that, the answer was Hato va prapsyase swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya
Yuddhaya
युद्धाय
Krutadis.
युद्धाय कृत निश्चयः. And then the next verse that you just that we will be talking next week. So that was the answer for that two. So sometimes maybe Balavihar kids can perform this, the one questions and Arjuna answers these two.
Would be nice, yeah. So I want to have a question. Actually, let's conclude, and then I have a question for you. Oh.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnas Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishtam Shanti.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.